Hi, this is Geri Campbell with Back to His Heart Ministries. We've been talking about God's provision. We've been sharing the story, a true story of our own lives, of how God, in the time of need, we have 72 index cards for a van that we have. In fact, I wanted to say we actually still have this 2007 van. It's still going. So we've been talking about God's provision through the life of that loan, which was 72 payments, 6 years of our lives. I'll bet you're interested to know a couple of these cards, what they might say. There's such a variety of ways that God has provided for us. But I have to say, when the cards were just blank, we had nothing on them. I have a few blank cards here. So you've kind of got a picture, these not being filled out, just blank cards waiting in this. Literally, this is the plastic baggie that I had. I was waiting on God. I remember that first payment was coming due. Thinking, oh Lord, you said you were going to make these payments. How are you going to do that? I remember I was holding my checkbook in my hand at the time, and the phone rings. Now, people who know me well know I don't really like to talk on the phone, so it was odd that my phone would actually ring. So I put my checkbook down and I pick up the phone, and it's this lady from my Bible study. I was involved in a women's Bible study at church, and I did not know this woman very well. In fact, she didn't even know my name. She disclosed later that she actually had to ask our leader, what's the name of that actress girl? That's how I was known then. So as I'm talking to her, she said we were doing the Experiencing God Bible study, if you know that, by Henry Blackaby, I want to say. It was hearing the voice of God and acting on it immediately. So Stephanie was her name. Stephanie said, Geri, you won't believe this, but God just spoke to me. And I'm thinking, well, I was just, kind of speaking to him. So I said, well, what did he say? And she said, he told me to give that actress girl a couple $100. That's what God spoke to Stephanie. And I was in shock. I'm thinking, I was just wondering how God was going to make this van payment. The van payment was $240, I want to say. It's in here somewhere. But anyways, so $240. And I said, wow, Stephanie, normally I would never take money from anyone for any reason. But I told her the story of how we had a van for our ministry and that God had spoken how he was going to make this payment. And that was a total fulfillment of my prayer that she wasn't even aware of. So she said, okay, well, I have to meet you this Sunday and I have to give you this couple $100. I'll have it ready for you. And I said, oh, Stephanie, why don't we just wait till our Thursday Bible study? Because I never saw her at church. We go to a very large church. I never saw Stephanie on Sunday mornings. I said, I don't want you to go through too much trouble. I'll see you Thursday. And she said, no, I have got to give you this money this Sunday. So she was so vehement. And I remember saying to her, oh, Stephanie, thank you. You really heard the voice of God. You really heard him. Thank you. Sunday morning comes and we decided to meet by the room that we had Bible study in. I'm waiting for Stephanie, and she's a beautiful woman. She's walking toward me, beaming, huge smile on her face. And she hands me a check for $200. And I just kept saying, oh, thank you. I hugged her. And I found myself repeating it. And it was almost weird, but I just found myself saying at least 3 times, you heard the voice of God. You really heard the Holy Spirit speaking into your heart. You heard him. So moving forward, I write down card number 1, payment number 1, Stephanie from my Experiencing God Bible study. The whole story is here. Wrote my card down. The thing is, Stephanie never made it to Thursday Bible study. 2 or 3 days after she gave me this check for this card, she died. It was unexplained. No one ever knew. She has a twin sister, and no one ever knew how or why Stephanie died. It was so powerful. I haven't talked about it in a while. I'm sorry. So I was thinking, God, of all things that you could have spoken to this beautiful, dear woman, you put this van payment, my need, on her heart. And it's one of the last things she did. I found out later from her twin sister that Stephanie had lived, let's just say, not always a life for God. She had quite a past. And when she got involved in our Bible study, she was making a new start. She had just moved from another state and was living with her sister. And her prayer before the Lord was, God, I'll know that you've forgiven me if I could just hear you one time. If I could just hear your voice, I'll know that you love me and that you've forgiven me. Such a powerful, powerful story. And she died knowing how much God loved her. And I had the first card. I have to say, truly, if the first card hadn't started out that way, I really don't think that I would have had the strength or the faith to persevere through the next 6 years. But it was because of Stephanie's active faith, her obedience, her love, her kindness, her generosity, that I have 72 instances of God's faithful provision. I don't even know where to go from here. I think sometimes I just need to let God speak to you in our time together. Take what you will from this story, because it may be the one waiting for God to provide, or you may be the one with the resources to provide for someone else. But it's that active faith and that obedience that I think is what we're talking about here. Which one are you? This is Geri Campbell with a Back to His Heart moment.